So this is the other puzzle, or one of the other puzzles, I think, in thinking about Korea's economy. One is this weakness of the won. The second thing is what's happening with domestic inflation. So that is, so how can, what to do about this? Or how to try to explain these things? And I guess there's like, the significant thing here is there are some big structural changes happening in Korea's economy, or some big structural shifts that have been seen over the course of the last 5 years or so in particular. One of those is now that fiscal policy is much looser in Korea than it has been before. And it really looks like 2019, probably before COVID, in fact, there was a sea change in fiscal policy in Korea. But before that, there was always a reluctance to spend money. There was always a reluctance to run a fiscal deficit. And Korea historically tended to run fiscal surpluses. But since 2020, there's always a fiscal deficit in Korea. And actually, when the government talks about fiscal tightening, or at least trying to rein the deficit in recent years, that process hasn't amounted very much, and we still end up with having a fiscal deficit every year in Korea. So this is if you look at it, it really is a step change, right? But before 2019 and after 2019, the fiscal deficit really looks very different. So this looks like, as much as it's sort of, we can trace like the fiscal impulse, we can think about the cyclical impact on GDP and so on. Like, this is also something which I think is more of a change in the way the economy operates, sort of akin to a structural change in the economy, because it doesn't look like fiscal policy is going to be managed in the future in the same way it's been managed in the past.